Hello, Curious! There is without a doubt one actor who can be considered an icon of the 80s and 70s, and that's Val Kilmer. This actor has starred in some of the most well-known movies such as Top Gun and Batman Forever. His iconic roles had made him the idol of women, and men grew their hair out in an attempt to look like him. But all that came to an end a few years ago when the actor was diagnosed with throat cancer and subsequently lost his voice because of it. And when fans had thought that this would be the end of the road for Kilmer, the actor surprised everyone when it was announced that he partnered up with the tech company to recreate his voice using AI. And what exactly did the process look like? And how will this affect the actor's career? Why has this caused some people to raise their eyebrows to be a bit skeptical? And will audiences be able to hear Kilmer's AI voice in the upcoming Top Gun sequel, Maverick? Stay with us until the very end to find out what this Hollywood icon never gave up on. But before we continue, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, hit the notification button, and the subscription button so you don't miss any of our videos that we publish daily. Kilmer wasn't born a Hollywood sensation, and this actor, who came into the world on December 31st of 1959 in Los Angeles, California, had to work to get where he is. And even as a kid, he showed talent in the acting and performing, as he took part in various plays and productions while still in high school, wowing the crowds alongside his friends and fellow future celebrities, Kevin Spacey, for example. After graduating, Val went on to study at the prestigious school Juilliard, and at the time of his acceptance, he was the youngest student who had enrolled to the drama division. And once college was over, he began working as a stage actor, but it wasn't until the mid-80s that his career would really take off. It was in 1984 that Kilmer had made his big screen debut, appearing in the movie Top Secret. Though the role that had certainly put his name in Hollywood map came 2 years later, and the movie in question, none other than Top Gun, where Val took on the role of Ice alongside Tom Cruise, who played Maverick. And since we're speaking of Tom Cruise, why not check out our video about the actor and the problems that he faces in his own life, and you can do so by clicking on the link above now. Though back to our man Iceman, make sure you stay with us until the very end to find out what fans expect from Kilmer in the Top Gun sequel. From then on, with nearly every passing production, Val was cementing himself more and more as a Hollywood blockbuster name, and some of the most popular movies accredited to his name are Willow, Thunderheart, Heat, and The Doors, in which he played the frontman of the band Jim Morrison, which allowed him to show off his singing voice on the soundtrack, and one of his most successful movies to date, Batman Forever, where Kilmer took on the role of the Caped Crusader, and which made a whopping $336.6 million at the box office. Thanks to all of his successes, the actor can boast an estimated net worth of around $25 million as per CelebrityNetWorth.com. He has also won countless awards, as well as received nominations for a Grammy Award as Best Spoken Word Album for the album The Mark of Zorro, as well as a Satellite Award for Outstanding Actor and the Supporting Role in the comedy or the musical Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Despite there being rumors that Kilmer was difficult to work with and that he often feuded with his co-stars, which allegedly included Tom Cruise as well, that was later attributed to his dislike for constantly being typecast as the heartthrob hero character rather than being given more serious and challenging roles, and so he let his frustrations show. And as for his rivalry with Tom Cruise, there was none between the two, and during the filming of Top Gun, the actors only played on the rivalry of their characters, which is what Kilmer touched upon in an interview. It was fun to play up the conflict between our characters, but in reality, I've always thought of Tom as a friend, and we've always supported each other. He also found success in his personal life, marrying his Willow co-star, Joan Wally, and the pair married in March of 1988 and had 2 children together, daughter Mercedes, born in 1991, and son Jack, born in 1995. Though it seemed as the pair had some irreconcilable differences, as a few months after their son's birth, Joan filed for divorce, which was finalized in 1996. And it looks like despite their split, Kilmer has a very good relationship with his children, which was proven as they helped him after his cancer recovery, but more on that in a moment, so make sure you stay with us until the very end. As I mentioned before, Kilmer was often typecast as the strong heartthrob hero in movies, which was also how he stayed in the memory of many people, and this is why when the world learned of his health battles, there were many surprised. In 2015, Val was taken to the hospital after he started spitting up blood and was diagnosed with throat cancer. And as it was later revealed that he had known about it a year earlier, but at the time refused treatment. And why, you might ask? Well, because of his Christian Science faith, he allegedly does not recognize any medicine because according to them, diseases are spiritual in nature. And as per ET Online, Kilmer believed that he would find the cure by working with his practitioner, Christian Science version of a spiritual advisor. Though throughout that work, Kilmer would relocate and pray his fear away so that his body would no longer manifest outwardly what can be diagnosed as a malady. It was actually thanks to Mercedes and Jack that he abandoned his initial plan and sought out medical treatment. And talking about it in an interview, the actor said, "I just didn't want to experience their fear, which was profound. I would have had to go away, and I just didn't want to be without them." And since the actor has battled the disease since last year, and he announced that he had won the fight with cancer, however, as the result of the illness, the actor had lost his voice. Using an electronic voice box to talk, he is unable to eat normally and does so by using a special feeding tube. So following that announcement, fans were worried that this would mean the end of his career, but for the actor, as it turns out, that was not the case, as he continued starring films, and some of them in turn, such as The Snowman, where it was clear that he was not in the best of health by looking at him, and The Birthday Cake, where he was talking by using an electronic voice box. And in his 2021 documentary, Simply Tilted Val, most of the audio coming from the actor himself was either through the archival video footage, or it was his son Jack speaking on his behalf. And seeing the actor not give up and continue acting was something that had given fans hope that it is something that he will continue to do. And possibly now that will be even more possible, given that in the way that the actor has got his voice back thanks to AI Prototype, and with the help of a UK-based software company, Sonatic, Kilmer was able to speak again after working alongside them, and they had created an AI version of his voice. As per media reports, a team working on the project had cleaned up the available audio from Val's movies and interview and archival footage and removed as much noise as possible from it in an attempt to create a model of his voice. And when the results weren't as good as needed, Sonatic developed new algorithms to work with fewer data and ended up creating about 40 different models of the Top Gun star's voice, and they had released a clip of their results onto their YouTube.
But I was struck by throat cancer. After getting treated, my voice as I knew it was taken away from me.
And what do you think, Curious? Did the AI do a good job? Will both Kilmer, who had worked alongside the company, and surely his fans had been excited about his new development, which meant that now Val's voice can be controlled by a desktop application that allows him to type whatever he wants to the model to say and then fine-tune the aspects of that delivery like and pitch and pacing, and he could potentially get back to acting. And there had been some who had raised their eyebrows. And it was the idea of an AI that has done so. So when looking at the technology of such as AI and CGI and the use of stars that are no longer with us and that have them appear on screen, by some it had been called unethical. And when it comes to getting a near perfect voice replica, this could lead to some dangers when it comes to creating deepfakes, which is already causing a lot of trouble, especially since, according to reports, this might not bode well for cybersecurity. Though if you want to know more about deepfake and what makes them potentially dangerous, check out our channel CURIOSIPS WOW, where they look at the emerging trend. However, dangers aside, what fans of the actor had been wondering is, given this new development, could Val Kilmer easily reprise his role as Iceman in Top Gun sequel of the Top Gun Maverick? Well, according to the actors in the movie's IMDb pages, he is set to appear in the movie, though it is not known to what extent. What surprised fans was when he was announced was the fact that many of the original cast, such as Tom Cruise's love interest Kelly McGinnis, will not be making a comeback. And apparently there had been no plans for Kilmer to make an appearance either. And according to the article by Screen Rant, there was no plan to bring back Iceman, but Tom and the producers had a change of heart after Val went through extreme lengths to plead his case. And in his memoir, I'm Your Huckleberry, the Willow star briefly explained how he convinced those involved in the decision-making to let him and his character into the sequel. And writing in his book, he said, and we quote here, "As the Temptations sang in the heyday of Motown Soul, ain't too proud, ain't too big," and the producers went for it, and Cruise went for it. The movie, which waited over 30 years for a sequel, and while longer and given its planned release date was halted due to the COVID pandemic, will finally see the light of day on November 19th of this year, and besides Cruise and Kilmer, it also stars Jennifer Connelly, Miles Teller, John Hamm, and Ed Harris. And, as we mentioned before, while Kilmer is credited to be in the movie as per the IMDb, it is unknown to what extent. So now for those of you who have not seen the trailer, spoiler alert! In this clip, it promotes the upcoming movie, and there's also a scene of a funeral. While it's not known whose it is, some fans are speculating that it could be that of Iceman. However, these are only fan theories, as most things about the movie have been kept top secret, and while many hope to hear Kilmer speak in this film, whether it will be possible with or without the help of his AI voice is unknown at the moment. While some had been worried about the star's health, pointing out that he looks very sick, the actor has several more roles in pre-production as per his IMDb page, and it looks like fans still have things to look forward to and to see and potentially hear. Well, Kilmer in. So curious, what are your thoughts on Val Kilmer's AI voice? Do you think it sounds authentic? And do you agree with those people who are a bit skeptical about it and think it's unethical? Are you excited about Top Gun Maverick? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.